The police killed my brother in the same manner that they killed George Floyd.
I understand why people would draw that comparison, and of course, it happened contemporaneous to the Chauvin trial. I do see, when I watch the video, I do see a conversation between two of the officers about trying to not put too much pressure, or avoid pressure on Mr. Gonzalez's back. I believe there's been accusations that the officers put their knee on Mr. Gonzalez's neck, and I didn't see that when I watched the video. But again, I want the entire investigation to be borne out before we make those kinds of pronouncements.
It's Jay Coffee Talk, reporting on some very sad news. The death of 26-year-old Mario Gonzalez in Alameda, California. Now, you heard his brother speaking to the media, addressing the public, saying that he feels the police killed his brother in the same manner that George Floyd was killed. And then you heard the interim police chief of Alameda police saying that, there's going to be an investigation. In his opinion, it's too early to say anything definitively. The officers are on leave at the moment. It's 3 officers involved. The body cam footage is out. I'm going to pin a link in the comments for the body cam footage. Now, this happened the day before the guilty verdict in the Derek Chauvin murder trial. And when you watch the body cam footage and you hear of this and you just, take in the whole situation, it's just so sad. And what was all this over exactly? I always try to look at anything I'm doing a video on, like I always say on the channel, from every aspect. I try to take it all in, and I always put it out there that I'm not anti-police, I'm not pro-police. I do believe there is good and bad police, but the bad police need to go, and so often that doesn't happen. Now, when you're watching the body cam footage, something that I noticed there that, maybe a lot of people out there can relate to, it may have happened to you or happened to someone else, is when they're talking to him and they go to start detaining or cuffing him, it kind of felt to me like they weren't clear about what they were doing exactly, as far as that they were going to cuff him. There's reports, like they say that they were called there because a man was intoxicated, and there's mentions of a possible theft, but there's not really a lot of information out there about what they feel he could have stole or anything like that. There's just reports of a possible theft. And I will say he does seem intoxicated, but he didn't seem to me like he was being aggressive with police or trying to fight with the police. In one point of the footage, he steps up on this piece of wood there, like a tree stump or something like that that's cut. And they just kind of say, hey, come here, let us help you down. We don't want you to fall. And they kind of take him by the arm. And when I'm saying that, they don't seem like they're being clear with him, like, okay, we're going to put cuffs on you, we're going to detain you. When they just kind of take him down, it seems like they just kind of go to start pulling his arms behind his back and cuff, without necessarily saying that. I'm just kind of thinking out loud here, guys. But I've kind of seen that before, where at times it seems like police officers almost kind of try to sneak the cuffs on someone, if that makes sense. I don't know if you guys know what I mean. Like, they don't say, hey, put your arms behind your back, you're being detained, you're being arrested. They just kind of went for it. And, naturally, he kind of pulled his arm back and he ends up on the ground, pinned on the ground. And you heard the police chief in his statement saying, I don't know if you guys caught that, he almost caught himself, where he says, you hear the 2 officers talking about how they're not trying to put too much pressure on him. And then he switched it up and said, avoid any pressure at all. Now, in the body cam footage when they're on the ground, once again, link will be pinned in the comments. You hear the one officer, kind of similar as to George Floyd. One of the officers says, do you want to turn him over on his side? And he said, no, I don't want to lose what I have here, which I don't even fully understand what he meant by that, And, shortly after that is when Mario went unresponsive and ended up dying. The police did try to revive him and everything. They did try to do that. But I don't know. This whole situation just kind of seems like when you watch it, I don't know, guys. Comment. Let me know what you guys think. Let me know if you think the officers will indeed be charged. Let me know your thoughts on what happened here as a whole across the board. Let's discuss it in the comment thread. But you just watch this and it's just like, why is this man dead? You know, as I said, he wasn't aggressive or violent, in my opinion, you know. And at one point in time, too, it also seemed like the officers were going to give him a ticket and let him go or take him home. And, you know, it came down to, I guess, that he didn't have an ID. And what was kind of insane to me was when they're have him pinned down and have their knee in his back near his neck. I don't know. Comment, guys. Let me know if you think the officer did have his knee in his neck. It's kind of hard to tell from the body cam footage. But it definitely, you could tell they were putting a lot of pressure on this man's back and neck area. They're asking him, what's your birth date? What's your name? Like, while this is going on, it made no sense to me. But this is just a very, very sad story. Thoughts and prayers out to him and his family. As it's being reported, he had a 4-year-old child and a 22-year-old brother who was autistic that he was the main caregiver for. So leave your thoughts in the comments. As I stated, body cam footage link is below. We will do updates on this story as well as all, you know, topics and stories that we cover. Thank you for watching. Make sure to subscribe to the channel. It's J Coffee Talk.